So in our last class, we were discussing two shlokas in which we discussed that people who are so much engrossed in materialistic things, what were those? Instead of taking shelter of Krishna, they take shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige. So they are just being illusioned. What illusion? What is the meaning of illusion? Identifying oneself with that which is not his real identity. We are not dead matter, not this body or whatever we see around us. We are not those things. But you will see people who are so much engrossed in materialistic things, they identify themselves with this body, but apart from this, they also identify themselves with whatever things they see around them. They just assume that whatever they have, it's there. Means it belongs to them. But this is not true. Everything belongs to Krishna. But they always assume like this that everything is mine. It is mine. So they are being illusioned, are always fond to unclean, attracted by the impermanent. This belief is that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. So their only purpose is to gratify their senses more and more. Prabhuji was telling one amazing thing that even though devotees are very much aware of this thing that we are not this body, but then also they take care of this body very much so that they may serve Krishna nicely with this instrument. But materialistic people who are so much engrossed into material things, they identify themselves with this body, but then also they do not care about their bodies. They don't care of their bodies. They just want to gratify till the end. That we have been given this body, so let's just gratify as much as we can. Let's just gratify our senses as much as we can. And that's why you will see such people are so much diseased. You can see this. So yes, thus there is no measurement for their anxiety. And they are full of anxiety for always. Bhagavad Gita 16.10 and 11. The leaders like the boatmen are all illusioned. So we discussed very interesting story yesterday that boatman, he was rowing the boat whole night. He was working very hard in rowing that boat, but he didn't remove that anchor of the boat. So he was working hard, he was rowing boat, but that boat was not moving. So same way in this material world, people are working so hard. From morning to night, they are working so hard. And they are assuming that we are progressing so much, but they are actually not progressing. The story of this boatman. They are just illusion. They are just assuming falsely that we are progressing, but it's not like that at all. They mislead us into taking some temporary benefit. But how long can their plans and schemes go on? Because temporary means which is there for a specific period of time. It will not be there for always. So for how long? See, we often see this. We have been observing this thing for always, but then also we get illusion. We are taking knowledge of scriptures. That's why we are at some extent saved from all these things. But people who are not taking any knowledge of scriptures, they're just being illusioned by these temporary benefits. And although they can see that everything is temporary, it will not be there with them for always, but then also they are being illusioned. This is because of lack of knowledge. If they persist until they die of heart failure or are killed by assassins, then another just like them takes their place. Even the so-called philosophers of modern society are captivated by material name and fame, and so they do not lead the general populace in the proper direction. So, see, this is also one thing, that people are not allowing other people to gain such knowledge. One reason behind is that because they themselves are not aware about this knowledge. Another reason is that they just want to exploit people. So that's why they do not lead the general population to the proper direction, in the proper direction. If we understand with example, so you will see in any family, if children, if any child is a devotee, so and their parents were not devotees, so their parents really told that child that your ultimate purpose is to get liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because they themselves were not aware about this thing. And that's why, because they were not aware of this thing, they were actually exploiting their own child. These points are really very deep. Anyone who is not taking you towards Krishna, he's taking you towards Maya. And that means he's actually exploiting you. It is same way like taking someone to well. Well means Kua, you might know, or yeah, something like that. It's very dangerous. And this is because of lack of knowledge. Thus, the anchor of life remains deeply fixed in the waters of nescience for the purpose of sense gratification. And thus, our so called civilization rots in a stagnant pool. So, if um, just like, yeah, so you might have seen this, that anything which is fixed from many, many years, just like I can give you the practical example. Few days ago, I offered water to Krishna and I stored that water in a glass. So now there was a tulsi leaf in that glass of water. So every time after offering water to Krishna, I was just taking out those tulsi leaves and I was storing those tulsi leaves in that same glass. Later, I forgot. I just kept that glass on the kitchen counter and I just forgot. Then, yesterday, when I checked, so that water was actually kind of, it was not in the position of that one may drink it, because it was kind of rotted. So, same way you will see anything which is fixed from a long time, it just keep on rotting. So, same way, if people are assuming, if they are fixed in this sense gratification, then they are actually rooting their body, they are actually rooting their bodies. Because we are not moving, we are always in the same port of problematic life. All schemes are also useless, scraps of paper in the face of war, famine, earthquakes, and other disasters. All these disasters are warnings from Mother Durga. So, yes, when Mother Durga, if she is arranging such things, so she is actually warning us. You take Krishna's shelter. Either you take Krishna's shelter, otherwise, you will keep suffering like this. Life after life after life. You will keep suffering like this. So she's actually warning. And by them, she confirms her eternal superiority over the illusion plan makers. She is always after destroying our plans. Whatever we plan, which is not for Krishna, she is always into destroying them. You can practically see this in your own family if they are not devotees. Means if you only stay in your house and you do not step out, and if your family members are not devotees, then you can see inside your house only that how or how other people, they just keep on planning things that we'll do this, we'll do that, but Krishna is not in center. So those plans are always um, Mother Durga is always keep on destroying those plans, and it's warning. The different weights on the anchor which keep us grounded in material life are our attachments to the material body due to our ignorance of spiritual facts, our attachment to kinsmen due to bodily relations, our attachment to our land of birth, and our material possessions, our attachment to material science, and our attachment to religion forms and rituals without knowing their true purpose. All these anchor the boat of the human body in the material universe. So, the only reason of our groundness in material life is our attachments, and those attachments have different variations. Attachment from this material body, attachments from our relatives, attachment from our whatever clothes or room, house, basically attachment to the material things is the reason of our groundness in this material world. And the reason, if this reason we turn towards Krishna, so the attachments with devotees, attachment towards only consuming Krishna's remnants, attachment towards chanting his holy names, attachment towards hearing about Krishna will ground us more and more in our spiritual life, which will take us more and more close to Krishna. So, see, we don't have to change anything. We don't have to change our activities, whatever we do, the food we eat. We don't have to change it. We have to direct it towards Krishna. It's just that easy. No need to quit your family. There is no need to quit your job. Nothing. You just keep Krishna in center. It's just that easy. Yes, Krishna consciousness is that easy. You just have to direct your activities towards Krishna. The tendency of human beings or the jivas, like it is their tendency that they will always get attached towards something. So, this tendency of attachment we should direct towards Krishna. We should turn it towards Krishna and towards the Vaishnava devotees of Lord Krishna. That is intelligence, because that will take you towards liberation, towards getting the love of Lord, which is the ultimate purpose of this human form of life. So we should direct our life like this. Sri Krishna, using the example of a strongly rooted banyan tree, advises us in Bhagavad Gita how to get rid of this attachment once and for all. So now Krishna himself is telling us the solution of how to get rid of these attachments in 15th chapter. So we'll try to oh, okay, I hope it's fine now. So we'll try to recite these shlokas. Recite with me. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभते नान्तो न चादिन च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्ख्यशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्ख्यशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी. We'll recite once more the whole shloka, both two shlokas. न रूपमस्येह तपोप्लवते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं स्फुरिरूढमूलम् असङ्ख्यशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. So basically, Lord Krishna is telling here about our um, about our state, that everything is eternal. Everything eternal means material world is not eternal for sure, but the creation is eternal. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. This banyan tree must be cut out with determination by the weapon of detachment. Okay, so Lord Krishna is telling about the attachment, not the world. What? Yes, the state of attachment of jivas. So we have been attached to the material things from eternal time. We have turned our faces from Krishna from eternal time. And no one can understand that where its foundation is. So banyan tree means tree of attachment. And it must be cut out with determination by the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that situation from which, having gone, one never comes back. One must surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything has begun and is extending since time immemorial. So, the ultimate solution of this problem of our attachment is this only, which we discussed, that we should direct it towards Krishna. One must surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever activities you are doing, just surrender to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 15.3 and 4. The personality of Godhead, who is fully cognizant of everything in his creation, informs us in our best interest that we must desire to get rid of this material existence. So Krishna himself tells us, this is the instruction of scriptures only, that one should one should basically direct himself of his best interest. Means whatever your interests are, whatever your hobbies are, whatever you are doing, whatever you are liking, you keep liking it, but you direct it towards Krishna. Of course, bad habits we have to quit, consuming non-veg, onion, garlic, and all. We have to quit all those things because those things will not take us towards Krishna, and we can't direct those things to Krishna as well. How can someone consuming onion garlic can direct it towards Krishna? We can't offer onion garlic or whatever non-veg to Krishna. So basically thing is that whatever is being favorable for our spiritual life, we accept it, and rest we just leave. Because that is actually not good for us. See, everything being already told in our scriptures for our own welfare. If scriptures, if Krishna is instructing us for something, then that is for our good only. Krishna has nothing to do with that. Krishna is Supreme Personality. He is absolute truth. Krishna is blissful all the time. So Krishna has nothing to do with all these things. It is for our own good, for our own welfare. So whatever is being favorable for our spiritual life, we accept it, and which is unfavorable, we just quit all those things. Just like we know, anger is not good for our spiritual life. It harasses our bhakti actually. If we are shouting on someone, if we are keeping envy in our hearts for anybody, then that is actually not good for our spiritual life, and we can't direct it towards Krishna. Is it not? So intelligence is whatever is favorable for our spiritual life, we accept it, and whatever is not favorable, unfavorable, we just quit those things. We must detach ourselves from everything material. Now, one Mataji is there, she's senior, so she was telling this thing that everything belongs to Krishna. Material is just our perception. Like a senior devotee, an intelligent devotee, he sees Krishna's hand in everything. He is able to perceive that everything belongs to Krishna. So we must detach ourselves from everything material to make the best. Are you understanding this point? Detach ourselves from everything material means, of course, we are residing in material world only right now. We can't just quit everything, and we can't just pack ourselves in a room and do our bhajan kriya. That is not possible. We are in this material body, or everything we see around us, it is material only. But we should learn this art of getting detached from it. Now, very interesting point, then we will stop. Detachment doesn't mean to quit anything. Are you understanding? Quit means renunciation. Detachment doesn't mean tyag, because we can't quit anything. We can't quit anything because nothing belongs to us. Real detachment means that whatever we have, we put it in service to Krishna. We use it in service to Krishna. That is real detachment. Detachment doesn't mean tyag, because we can't quit anything, because nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. So detachment means whatever we have, like we have, you have mobile. So from that mobile, instead of watching YouTube shorts or whatever movies and all, if you have laptop, instead of watching Netflix, you hear Krishna Katha from it. You hear Kirtan from it. So that way, you are using your material gadgets or whatever things in service to Krishna. That is detachment. And that's why you will see when we use things like this. So even those things get destroyed at specific period of time, it will get destroyed for sure, because it is material thing. So then also we we are not stressed, is it not? But when anyone, if he is using something for his own sense gratification, and if that particular thing will get destroyed, then he will be in anxiety. This is very practical thing. And one more thing I was noticing, that anything which you are using in Krishna's service, it will be like, it will be with you for long time, because you are using it in Krishna's service. This is practical. Because when we use something for our own sense gratification, then we are actually not caring those things. But when we are using it for Krishna's pleasure, in Krishna's service, then we keep it very nicely, we keep it very neatly, we take care of those things because it is for Krishna's service. So these are all practical things which devotees can relate with their practical lives. All right, now we will stop our discussion here, and we will continue it in our next class if Krishna is willing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.